she can lift it away from the package cleanly without touching the wrapper sides. In opening peel packs, separate the edges by rolling them back over your hands. The sterile contents can then be offered to the scrub person in a way that minimizes the possibility of touching the unsterile edges. When opening solutions, remove the lid by lifting it straight off. This prevents accidentally contaminating the edges. Pour the solution carefully to prevent splashing or touching the sterile field. Do not allow solutions to run down the bottle and drip onto the sterile field. Once opened, all the solution must be dispensed in a single delivery. Any unused portion must be discarded. Principle number 4. Gowns are considered sterile in front from shoulder level to table level, and the sleeves to 2 inches above the elbows. Gowns are considered sterile until they're put on. Once hands touch the stockinette cuffs, the cuffs are considered unsterile, and all must be covered with sterile gloves. Sterile persons should keep their hands close to their body in front of them, and only within the designated sterile area of the gown. The back of a wraparound gown is considered unsterile because it cannot be constantly observed. Principle number 5. Tables are sterile only at table level. Drapes that hang over the sides are considered unsterile because they're out of sight and cannot be monitored. Scrubbed persons should not allow their hands to fall below the sterile field for the same reason. A scrubbed person should sit in a sterile area only to perform a surgical procedure and should remain seated for the entire procedure. Principle number 6. Sterile persons and items touch only sterile areas. Unsterile persons or items touch only unsterile areas. Unscrubbed persons must be careful to maintain enough distance from a sterile field to prevent contamination. Unsterile people should always face the sterile field and should not walk between 2 sterile fields. Unsterile persons should not lean or reach over sterile areas and should always maintain a distance of safety to prevent accidental contamination. A safety margin must be maintained either by space or by using an instrument for extension. Principle number 7. Movement within or around a sterile field must not contaminate that field. Sterile persons must remain within the sterile field. When exchanging positions, movement must be back to back or front to front. Principle number 8. All items and areas of doubtful sterility are considered contaminated. An item is either sterile or it is not. Any questionable item is considered unsterile. A good surgical conscience is vital in maintaining a sterile field. Sterile fields should be prepared as near as possible to the start time of the surgical procedure. A sterile field must be constantly monitored. Unguarded fields should be considered contaminated. It is the responsibility of all members of the surgical team to maintain a sterile field. Operating room personnel must acquire the knowledge and develop skills.
จบทีนี้หมดแบบที่10 ที่สอนไปจะมี